Hey guys, Josh here from Sportitude Running, and we are doing a shoe review today, and it's going to be on the new Saucony Triumph 19. Now, when I say new, this one has been on the market now for a few months, and we're a bit late to getting this review done. However, what Saucony have done with this shoe and the feedback we've had from the running community and all of our customers downstairs, well, it warranted a shoe review, that's for sure. Because on paper, there's not a lot that's different from this one, the 19 from the 18. And today's review, we're going to dive into all the changes, give you all the information that you need at home to, who knows, make this your next purchase for a daily mileage neutral trainer. So without further ado, let's get stuck in. Okay guys, before I get stuck into the Triumph 19, what I want to do is talk about the foot type that could be considering this shoe. So like I've done in all my previous shoe reviews, I do like to profile the foot type. And when you're talking Saucony Triumph 19, you're talking about a neutral foot type. And there's a couple of ways to explain what a neutral foot type would look like. Now, in my hand, I hold a static foot that has a slightly higher arch. You can see there's a bit of space between the arch and the ground through here. And for this runner, with this static position of foot type, when they're going through their gait cycle, landing through to mid-stance, a lot of the pressure will be on the outside of the foot. So technically, we call that supinating. So the pressure will be on the lateral column of that mid-stance phase, and as they get ready to then engage their foot and toe off. So again, pressure is through the outside of the foot. However, we do see a neutral foot type from time to time that comes through and doesn't look too dissimilar to this. So again, you put that foot type on a flat surface when they're transitioning through their mid-stance, and from the side profile, it looks like the arch is relatively flat to the ground. However, when you turn it around, this runner is still putting majority of their pressure through the central part of their foot. So there's no bias towards that medial side, and there's no bias towards that lateral side. Again, more neutral foot type through the central part as their foot gets ready, engages and toe-offs through the gait cycle. Okay guys, in my hand I hold a Saucony Triumph 19. Now I do apologise about grabbing a black colour. The contrast with my top in the background probably doesn't do it much favours. However, this is a women's size 8.5, and I've got a women's size 8.5 here in a Triumph 18 to compare today. So first things first, let's dive straight into the outsole. One of the simplest part of this shoe is the configuration they've used underneath the foot itself. So Saucony have used over the last couple of seasons a compound rubber they like to call XT900. So it's a relatively durable rubber. I'm not going to fault that at all. So at the back column through here, a very nice, slightly denser rubber that's sort of strategically placed at the back of that lateral column of your heel for that heel striker that comes down. However, when you come through to the midfoot and forefoot, you can see through the midfoot column through here, there is a nice piece of rubber that's going to offer that midfoot runner a good purchase with the ground when they make contact. And then of course, when you come through to the forefoot, now be it if you're a forefoot runner or you're a mid or heel striker, this part of the shoe here is going to get a significant amount of wear. So what Saucony have done with this rubber is they've cut away two vertical flex grooves through here and here. Now what that does is it provides a slightly more stable forefoot. So if Saucony had gone with the old route with horizontal flex grooves through here, with the compounded rubber that they, or the compounded materials, pardon me, that they use in their midsole, that would be way too flexible and it wouldn't be very stable for the runner who's transitioning through the end of their gait cycle. So again, those vertical lines through here just offer a little bit more structured integrity for that forefoot as it gets ready to toe off out of its gait cycle. Now coming to the midsole, and surprise, surprise, we've got the exact same midsole on offer. We have Power Run Plus from Saucony. So again, a new, well I shouldn't say new, pardon me, it's been a slightly new midsole that they rolled out a couple of seasons ago. They've made marginal sort of changes from one season to the next, but between the 18 and the 19, they have kept the compound the exact same. The molds are the exact same, everything in regards to the Power Run Plus is the same. We've got the same stack height, which is 32.5 in the heel, right through to a 24.5 in the forefoot, and that's for that 8mm offset through there. So again, when a brand has got something right, we do like it when they just don't touch it. I mean, I get it, brands, we need to make progress with their engineering. They need to keep pushing the boundaries. However, it's not a bad thing when a brand gets it right and they go another 6 to 12 months, 12 months with the same outsole, just buys them a little bit more time to start working on the next version of this shoe. And let me tell you right now, I have seen Triumph 20 on paper, and I'm absolutely loving what Saucony are doing with this shoe. I'm not going to talk about it too much. You have to wait for a few months now, or potentially 10 months now, till we start talking about that review. But again, brands sometimes buy time. When they get it right, they buy themselves time to work on the next iteration of this shoe, which is what Saucony have done. Okay guys, now it's time to give you my subjective opinion on the Triumph 19. Now, I've got to be honest, probably the reason it's taken me a couple of months to get this review to you is because on paper, I sat there and thought, well, it's such a similar shoe. Really, we've got the same outsole, same midsole, and a form-fit upper. What could possibly be different for me to justify jumping in front of the camera and telling you the difference between the two of them? However, when we started to get some feedback from our running community, our staff members downstairs, the podiatrists that were then started to refer to this shoe, I had to put a pair on my foot, and I've used them for around 30 Ks now, so 3 10K runs. Different speeds, which is really important. So I went for slower, a slower run, which is around that 5 to 5:15 minutes per kilometre for me. And then I did a progressive run, got out the door at 5s and ended up finishing at about 4:20s in that last kilometre. And I really couldn't fault the shoe. I didn't have an uncomfortable wear-in phase. It was seamless from the first K right through to that last run, which I did last week. But in saying that, I didn't mind the Triumph 18 either. It probably took a few more runs for me to get used to this shoe, and that could be totally reliant on the fact I was slightly different 12 months ago to where I was now. My expectations from shoes with regards to Triumph 18 was different to where it is with the Triumph 19. So again, you've got to take in consideration my subjective opinion. While it's mine and mine entirely, please take it with a grain of salt. The other thing which I like to say with the Triumph 19 is that it's a more consistent feel around the whole fit of your foot. Now, again, I talk about that in the terms of up top, it didn't feel like I had a disconnection between the midsole and the upper. It felt like almost the shoe was one piece, and it works in unison with every single component of this engineering breakdown. Putting the 18 on the foot back in the day when I looked at my notes yesterday, I did find that the midsole and the upper was a bit disconnected, and in the sense that it felt like I had a slightly more weighted system underneath the foot than what was locking me down on top. And what I mean by that is if you've got your foot sitting on top of a platform, and if you're not getting that connection on top of your midsole, therefore maybe it's the gusseted tongue, how your navicular arch sits on top of the midsole. If there's a little bit of a disconnect with regards to how your foot sits, then you're going to feel like you're picking up a heavier system every single step. Now, again, 20 gram reduction is a significant amount, especially when it's all in the upper. However, how this shoe fitted and how this shoe locked me down on top of that midsole, I really did feel like it was doing everything I wanted it to do and more. It is a highly underrated shoe, the Triumph 19, and if you happen to be a runner that fits this profile, you're looking for a neutral or stable neutral shoe, you haven't tried Triumphs before, maybe you've come from a Glycerin or a Nimbus or a 1080 previously, and you may be searching for something slightly different, I would certainly consider giving this shoe a go. Pop into your store, have a conversation with a salesperson, try it on, give it a go, and do not feel that because you tried the 18 like I had done, and felt, no, not for me, I like it, but it's not for me, that you would not even consider the 19 because, boy, was I wrong. It has performed really well, and I'm looking forward to putting a few more clicks inside the Triumph 19, that's for sure. So, guys, if you've got any questions, queries or theories, or you'd like to let us know if you've had Triumph 19 and what your feedback is, please let us know in the comment section below. If you happen to be a Triumph franchise lover and you've had your ups and downs, please let us know your journey. I mean, I'm going to throw back here to the Triumph ISO 3, going back about 5 years now. I've really liked that shoe. Didn't really get along with the ISO concept. However, the ISO 3, it got me back into Triumphs and I really enjoyed what they did. Then ISO 4 was a complete miss in my opinion. But now, coming back to 19, I'm liking what Saucony are doing. They have got some big plans for this shoe going forward. As I said in this review earlier, I have seen the prototype for Triumph 20 and it is going to be an absolute jet. Again, I'm only saying that off of cat drawings and off the conversations I had with team at Saucony Australia, but they are making real noise, real progress in the area of high mileage, stable neutral running shoes, and I'm excited with what this brand is doing in the future. So until next time, guys, stay safe, be kind to one another, happy running, and we'll see you out on the road. Take care.